On this video, we will build a web application that shows the distance in miles and kilometers from New York to the capital of any country in the world. We are using an AMP server, MAMP, HTML, JavaScript, MySQL as our DBMS, and PHP for server programming language. We're also going to use the phpMyAdmin so we can import the contents of a CSV file into our database. And here's the CSV file. See, there's two header lines, and it goes country, capital, miles, and kilometers. Here going to be our input screen, our interface, distance New York to major world cities, and then drop down. So if you click on that drop down, you're going to get this here. We're going to show capital, come the country. It's invariably people knows more the capital than the country that they are from. Okay, so after we've done this, we get the output screen. That's going to be this one here. So if you pick Dhaka, Bangladesh, so we're going to show this. The distance between New York City and Dhaka is 7,887 miles, which corresponds to 12,693 kilometers. And then we can also use a number format to insert a comma there. Okay. So my AMP server is up and running. Is here. So he set up a server for me here, or for us, local host, and he running that port there. I'm going to start coding this using this editor here, commode edit. So we're going to build that first input screen, right? So we're going to go a new file. As usual, we're going to, let me save this. Save as. We're going to put into our document root directory, which it goes into my applications, my AMP server, which is my MAMP, since I have a MacBook. So I'm going to go into my MAMP. The htdocs is the document root directory. I'm going to go into Spring 2020, and I'm going to create a folder there, New York distance capital. And create the folder there. Okay. So I'm going to put here that file number there, all files, and I'm going to call that New York distance capital.html. And I'm going to start coding HTML. Head, put a title there now. Distance, miles, kilometers, New York to, let's say, world capital. Okay, so head here. We're going to go to the body. And the body, I'm going to also add an H2 here. And repeat that title there. And I'm going to put a placeholder here. Div ID select placeholder. I'm going to show the result right there, right on that same page. So I'm going to put an extra space here and put another placeholder there. And I put here the distance placeholder. Okay. All right. Now here we go. So in the body here, as I get this page, I want to have that drop-down window shown right there. So I'm gonna here on load. I'm gonna call this function here, this JavaScript function called populate select. I put a semicolon. Populate select. And I'm gonna run that function inside the script right here inside of the head. Script type text JavaScript. I'm gonna put my function here, populate select, and open close. I have to contact or communicate with the server, right? So the server gonna go into a database and populate the selected, right, with the contents of the country, the capital, right? Instead of the communication through the AJAX, we're gonna use AJAX but through the jQuery. So I'm gonna install here, I'm gonna put a comment here, download jQuery, let's put it here, Google's CDN jQuery. Right, so Google, we're gonna give us that jQuery there. Host libraries here, we can come in here and scroll down here, it gives us a bunch of objects here. One is jQuery, I'm gonna copy the script to script, control copy, go back to your editor there, and dump that there, control V. Give some space here. Now I can code here, right? I'm gonna go straight to $, Ajax, and I'm gonna code like so. I have a particular way to do here, which is very common for some editors. This one here, it doesn't give us, but I'm gonna force that one. So used to use that way. Okay, so Ajax. So here let's set up the parameters, which is actually not too many. It's only two actually. The first one is the URL, who you are connecting to. Could be a physical with a real URL, right? You access the server and then you go to that page where you have that page, to that program, right? But this one here is inside of a server here. So we're gonna call that the same name as the function, populate select.php. Okay. Comma. We're not gonna pass anything. By default, it's gonna be back, it's gonna send us back text. And by default, the method is get, so just go straight to the success. And that's gonna be a function of what the server gonna send us back. Server data, and I'm gonna use jQuery method of writing into the web page. So it's a $sign for jQuery. In parentheses, the reference there is an ID, so £, we call select placeholder, and we put here .html, and then whatever the server sends us back here. Server data. So we're done here. We're done here. So the only thing we have to do is work on this program here. So populate select, I'm gonna save this on the same location. New file, and I'm gonna save this, save as. Again, MAMP, htdocs, spring 2020, New York distance capital, and we call that populate select.php. And here make that all files, right? And save. Okay, so start the file with the PHP and make sure that the communication is okay. We just say print hello from server. Save this, and let's get that HTML page here. We go in Command Tab, HTTP, localhost. Mine runs on that port, and I get rid of everything up to include htdocs. Let's remember this. Preview. Hello from server. Okay. So we're on the right track. So come here and populate select. Well, we're going to access a database and so on. So let's create our database. Okay, let's put it back our CSV. This is just an excerpt, just a piece of it. So what are going to do? Take look at the top of the second line from the top. We have country, comma, capital, comma, miles, comma, kilometer. I'm going to use the same header names there for my database fields. So let me go here to the MAMP here. Use the PHP MyAdmin here. PHP MyAdmin. Okay, so we have PHP MyAdmin here. Let's create our database. So I'm going to here to databases. Create a database. So I'm going to create the same name. New York, dist, capital. Create. Create a table. I'm going to use the same name. I'm going to add the underscore table. New York, dist, capital, underscore table. And how many? 4. Remember the CSV here? We have country, capital, miles, and kilometer. 4 columns. So I'm going to leave 4 there, say go. Okay, name. Same thing, I'm going to call country. Same order, got to be on the same order. Country. Varchar. Tab 100, that should do it. Go all the way there, go all the way to the right to index and make this primary, right? Yes, say go. Why? I don't think there's any country or any 2 countries the same name. I think it's against the United Nations, the organization, international organization. Let's make country, same country. Country, capital, right? Same order as the CSV. Capital, varchar of 100. So there's capital, pretty long names. Capital, miles. Right? I'll make just varchar 50. Right? Unless if your web applications get the distance and multiply or compare that to who is the largest and so on. But then again, you can also take the varchar and convert that during your code, right? In the middle of the code, okay? Another reason to also use varchar is to make that searchable, right? Varchar miles and the kilometers. What I meant by search, it begins a full text search, okay? And it's full text search only applies for varchars or chars or strings, okay? Kilometers. So you can type there, what is the capital within 50 miles from New York or something like this. So you can search by type a regular natural language query. Kilometers, same thing, I'm going to make that varchar of 50 characters, that should do it. All right, so we have our primary, the 4 fields in our database. I'm going to save. Now the next thing is I have the CSV. I'm going to import the content of the CSV into our database. Now the CSV can be located anywhere, but just for my only security here, I want to always keep, I have it here inside of this folder called data. I have a bunch of CSV files Among them is this one here that I'm gonna use, partial, okay? Then I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna put that into our, all the files that I have for that web application. Yeah? So they're all in the same location. I'm gonna go to my MAMP here. You can leave anywhere you want, because I'm gonna show when you use the import, we can point to where the file, the CSV file is located. All right, htdocs, Spring 2020, New York distance capital, and they're gonna paste this guy here. Paste item. We get the CSV there. So let's go back here. We have the database, the columns already set up. The only thing we need to do is take the content of the CSV and dump inside of those columns there. So I'm gonna go into import here. It's a GUI driven, so you can later on see what the SQL is about behind all these actions here. Choose a file, and I point to where the file is. So I'm gonna go back here to my applications here, into my MAMP, htdocs, Spring 2020, NY disk capital, disk CSV here, choose. Carry set to UTF-8 is fine. Now here's the number of lines I should skip from the top. Remember that CSV has 2 header lines. Let me bring up again. And here I have the title, distance, New York word capital, and this country capital, miles and kilometers. I have to skip those 2 lines here. So I skip here 2 lines. 2 lines. Leave that enable foreign keys checks, if there is any. And then here it takes CSV using load data. Remember, it's a CSV, so I'm going to make this a comma, columns separate with comma, columns enclosed with double quote, no. Column escape with a backslash, no. Lines terminated with, it goes automatically here. I'm going to change to backslash n, character return. Columns name, this is only if you wanted to import certain columns, not all of them, okay? And I'm going to use a local keyword here for our local file, and I just go. You have 134 rows insert, that's exactly the number I have. So that's why the file has the word partial there, because it's not total. I don't have all the entire word capitals or word countries there. I am missing a few of them there. Okay. So I have 134. If you want to browse and take a look, right? You can see here Afghanistan, Albania, there's a mile, the kilometers is all there. So you have your database. Okay, very good. So let's go back to our PHP here and start our PHP here. I'll populate that. First thing we're gonna do is connecting to the database. So the first thing we need to set up 4 parameters. The first one is the server. Our server is called localhost. Localhost. The user is equal to root. We're going to go as root. If you go to back to my MAMP here, you can see here, look at here the MySQL, localhost, port 8889, user root, password is root. Right? So I'm going to go back there to my editor, user, $ password. If you are using WAMP server, Windows, so you go as root if you want to go as root. Or we can go and create a user there, right? If you are doing this professionally, you should create a user there. Or if you are the only one, you are the data manager administrator, DBA, so yeah, you can go as root. Because be very careful if anyone can go as root, they can delete, they can do, can damage the database. And for me here, root, for the web server, for the Windows, the password is no password, unless you set one. Professional, you should do it, you should set a password. Password is root. And the database is that one that I create ny dist capital. If you don't want to type the database table, so you can do this database table, or short for DB table. And it's the one that we create, ny. Those are the 4 is the one they really need. You know? This is just when you type in your code, instead of keep typing the same capital table. Right? Okay. So let's create a connection. Creating a connection. Which means we're going to create a variable actually. So we're going to call, we can call anything you want. Right. ConDB, connection database. So it's a MySQL of I underscore connect. Okay. Now here you go. It tells you the host name, the user, password, and the database. Okay, so you can do this. So just repeat those variables there. Server, $user, $password, $database. Now PHP has also another nice thing here that you run it, depend on certain command lines. You run the command line, you can do also here, or die, no connection, which you don't want that. This is going to be printed in case the first one doesn't run, you don't get the connection. Right? Or die, no connection. Also, that one is good for debugging, right? You print the error, okay? No connection. Just for sake of insurance, you just say here, connected. As you get used with the connect to database, of course you don't need this. This also is debugging thing. I'm gonna save this, get the page again. I said preview, you see connected there. So you connect to the database. All right, good, so far so good, right? So I take that out, I don't need this. So we're gonna create here, creating a string variable to select all records in the database table. So I'm going to do $SQL select, any name is fine, and I'm going to run this guy here, select. This is the command you would have typed in front of the command prompt, MySQL command prompt. Select all fields from, I'm going to concatenate that with $DB table. Remember, we are in PHP. We are running SQL. SQL, if you are in front of the command prompt, you just type the command, but we are inside of PHP. So we are embedding SQL command into the PHP lines, command lines. So we're going to run, or running, the above SQL, right? Which result in a variable, okay? So we're going to create a variable here. Results. So how to run? Again, MySQL underscore query. And what I put here, the object link, the connection, $ConDB, comma, and the string query, with the one they'll just create above there. SQL select. Again, we can use or die and say here, query did not run. Again, if it is the first time you are doing this, it's advised to print query ran. So do it again, since this is the first time we're showing this. Query run, let's get the HTML again. Query ran, okay, good. We are on the right track, again. So go back there, so query ran. So we got all the records. So this, if you print the result, it's very complex. Because you think of all the records in one variable, store that, right? So what you have to do is extract the values from inside of this object type variable. Right? Let's putting together the select element, or sending it back to the HTML. So we're going to put here print select ID. Let's put here capital list on change get distance. Let's run that JavaScript there. And print the first option there. Or the first option, yeah, first option. The value is nothing. And you're going to say here, select a capital. Now we're going to loop it through the whole result, or results, I should say, right? And when I loop through the result, I'm going to use the fetch array to put that each record into an array. So that's the way to do here. Looping through all records contained in the variable $results. So I see here while record array, that's it become an array, MySQL underscore fetch underscore array. And what is it? Results. Okay. So it's gonna so each record now, each line on a file is an array. So what is the first element of the array? Element 0. That's the country. Back again to the database, right? Back again to the database here. This one here. So the element 0 is the country, element 1 is the capital, element 2 is the miles, element 3 is the kilometers. Okay, so let's do it. So $sign country is record array of element 0, right? And $sign country, the capital, $sign record array of element 1, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show to the user. Remember the first input screen there? People knows the capital. Where are you going? Paris. Where is it? France. Where are you going to go? Berlin. Germany. Okay, London. So it's most probable that you find the user knowing the capital than knowing the country. So I'm going to display capital, comma, country. Right? And I'm going to pass as a value for each one the distance. So I don't need to connect to the database, populate the select, let the user select the capital there, and then go back to the database, connect it again, and get the distance. So in one shot deal, we finish the application. So let's go back here. So we're going to do this, capital, So I'm going to send the option back there. So I'm going to do here print. If you want, so you don't get a little confusing here, mile is $ record array of 2. And $km for kilometer is $ record array of 3, element 3, right? So $distance is $miles. I'm going to concatenate with the comma, because when I get to the run this SQL here, this JavaScript, the get distance, I can get the string and split it in comma, and I have the separate values, and can I display in the string, right? The capital, the distance between New York and the capital, the select capital, is such miles, which correspond to the number of kilometers, okay? So I'm gonna do $mile, comma, and concatenate $km. Now I can send it back the option, print, option, the value, right? Is a string there, I can put this here, concatenate certo $distance, I finish the single quote, option, and then I concatenate that to the, I'm going to put the capital first, remember? Concatenate with the comma, space, concatenate that with the $sign country, and I finish, right, the option. Right? All right, see, here's the end of the loop. So I read the second line on the database, right, from that result variable, and I put an array, I got this, and I keep doing this, send all these options. When I'm done with the looping through all the results, so what I do, I send it back, right? Send it back to HTML, the closing of select element. So print, select. Okay. If you run here, we're going to get the list there. So save this. Let's get that page again. So we come in here, we see all the lines here, right? All the capital, the capitals, comma, the country. And I take, for example, Minsk, Belarus. Nothing happened because we haven't worked on this JavaScript here called get distance. All right, let's work on that JavaScript. Let me close this. So we have here function, populate select. We already have the script, so I just, this is the end here, put the comment, the end of populate select. And I'm going to start the other function there, function get distance. Right, what this function going to do? Read the value of the select option, okay? Reading the value of the selected option. How to read? Document, let's put in a variable, select. Now, here's the thing. When you read, the value is the miles, comma, space, no, just comma, I'm sorry, mile, comma, kilometer. So I'm going to say that select distance. So it's going to be how to read document dot get element by ID. The list there, the selected there, the PHP, we gave an ID as capital list with the uppercase L. So we come in here and we put here capital list dot value. Okay. Dot value. Minimize here so you can see the whole line. Bring this up. All right, we got the value. So we got that string. So what you do here is a string separate with a comma. Let me split the string. Split the string select distance or select distance by comma. So you're going to have an array, right? So you're going to hear var distance array. What is it? You take the select distance dot split in comma. Okay, so split the select distance in commas, right? So now I can do here. So I can do here var, right? I can put here separate here var miles is equal distance array element 0, right? And var km distance array element 1. Okay, so we're going to display in this distance placeholder here the string, the distance between New York and the capital. Now the capital, we didn't pass the value of capital, it just showed to the user, the drop down, how to read that. So we're going to do this thing, getting the capital. So how to get the capital? So we're going to read what the select index give us. Okay, so we're going to do this thing here. We're going to do var obj. Let's separate things. So we're going to do just document, just get the object, the capital list. Get element by ID, capital list. Right? So var, let's get the cap and the country. No, remember they are separated by comma, comma, space, right? So cap country, this is just read the obj dot options in square bracket there, obj dot selected index, and here dot text. Right? So now we're gonna do the var capital is equal to cap country dot split in comma space, split that and take the element 0, right? Because it's a capital, comma, space, country, and that's the way the list goes. Okay, so now we can display the whole thing on a placeholder. We're going to use jQuery, #, distance placeholder, .html, and display that. The distance from New York to concatenate, oh, that's a plus. Let's go down here. Plus capital is space plus miles plus which corresponds to plus km plus space kilometers. And that should do the app. There's one more thing that we're gonna do, right? Is format those strings there. Save. Let's get this page here. So we're gonna go here. Let's go to, how about Baku, Azerbaijan? It's 5833. Baku 5833 9387. Is that correct? Let's go get this text. Azerbaijan Baku 5833 and 9387 right here. All right, just to one step further, so we can now display the distance with a comma there. So we're gonna use this format here, var nf new international dot number format, and apply that format to miles and kilometer. Nf dot format miles, nf dot format kilometers. So if I save and I display the page, get the page, I should say, I should get the Vienna 4,200, if you want to make sure that Vienna, Austria, Austria, Vienna is 4235, 6815. Okay. Thank you.